Hello everyone, in this week's video I'm going to be doing the Sharpie challenge. Kind of. Let me explain. So let's get started. So these are the markers I am using. I thought they were Sharpies, but it turns out they're actually not. I didn't notice until I went to edit the video. These are actually Bic Mark markers. And I'm still saying I'm doing the Sharpie challenge because they look like Sharpies, they work like Sharpies, they smell like Sharpies, and they're the same price as Sharpies, so they're not more expensive. So they're pretty much Sharpies. So yeah, I'm still saying I'm doing the Sharpie challenge, and I thought I was coloring with Sharpies until I was editing the video. So I have about 20 colors. I got these markers about 4 years ago, and I'm gonna say I was amazed that they still worked. I thought they would be all dried up, but it turns out they still worked very nicely, so they last for a long time. So here I am sketching out my picture. I had started the sketch in my sketchbook, but I kind of really liked it, so I thought maybe I'd save it for a video. And I'm glad I saved it, because then I thought to do this marker challenge. So it's just a girl, and she's holding a bear, and it's cute. I am cleaning up my sketch with a pencil. I did my rough sketch in a pink erasable color pencil. I like doing my rough sketch in erasable color pencils because it makes it easier to clean up my sketch later with a normal pencil. Here I am doing the line art. I had scanned my sketch into the computer, and then I cleaned it up a bit and also made some adjustments to the sketch because I often see things I want to change about a picture, like some things will look kind of wonky. So I scan it into the computer and make some adjustments, and I also cleaned it up a little bit more. And then I printed it out at a bigger size, and now I am doing the line art. I'm not going to show the whole line art process because it's kind of boring. I am using my light box. I can't remember what brand it is. Maybe I'll put it on the screen. Can I just say though, I feel kind of rusty when it comes to making traditional pictures. I haven't made a finished traditional picture in a while. I feel like I need to make more finished traditional pictures. I've been drawing so much digitally so much lately. So here I am starting on the skin. The only skin tone I had was a brown. Were two brown colors. So I decided to make her skin brown, and I feel like she looks quite cute. One thing I wish though is that I wish I hadn't colored the skin first, because as I am working on a picture, I'll often learn things as I go. And with coloring the skin, I was doing kind of an up and down kind of motion. I was trying to make it so there wouldn't be a ton of streaks, but it still looked really streaky just because I was doing this up and down line motion. But as I was coloring the overalls, I noticed that if I really soaked the paper in the ink of the marker, I could actually get a pretty flat layer of color. So I learned that when I was coloring the overalls, and then I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done that on the skin because then it wouldn't look so streaky. I actually end up going over the skin another time to help smoothen it a bit. And it did help quite a bit. Her skin ends up looking pretty smooth. It's still a little streaky in some areas, but I feel like it looks pretty okay. Here I'm going in with the purple for the overalls. It was actually quite fun coloring with these markers. It went a lot better than I thought it would. I got really nervous right before I was going to color the picture because I was doing kind of some swatches and some test stuff on a scrap piece of paper. And I'm like, oh man, how am I gonna make these work? I was really nervous, especially since I kind of liked the picture. And I liked how the line art turned out, so I was kind of nervous about coloring it. I'm like, I'm gonna ruin the picture. But as I kept working with these, I kept getting a little bit more comfortable with them. I am using marker paper. I'm using my Express It blending card. It's the kind of paper I use when I'm using my Copic markers. I decided to use my marker paper because I thought it would help the ink go more smoothly over the paper, because the paper is very smooth. It has like no tooth to it. So I thought it would work well for these markers, and it did work quite well for them. I colored her eyes blue, and I colored her hair pink. Here I'm going in with a darker reddish pink. And then I use a lighter pink for the rest of her hair. Because these markers don't blend very much, Sharpies and these markers, they do not blend no matter what you do. So I tried to keep the coloring very simple and almost kind of a cell shaded kind of look. I wasn't trying to be super complicated with the shading just because, yeah, these markers do not blend. For her shirt, I just used a light blue to shade it. I decided to have her shirt be white, and I shaded it with the light blue. I made her headband the same color as her overalls. I really like how her headband turned out. Here I'm going over the skin again. I'm really glad I did go over the skin again. I kept debating if I wanted to go over the skin a second time because I knew it would make it very dark. And I didn't want the skin to get too dark because then it gets hard to see the line art. It does get a little hard to see the line art, but I go over with my white gel pen. I go around some of the edges, and this helps a bit to distinguish things like her chin. I also went in with my dark brown and added some darker shadows just to give a little bit more variation in the color and to help things be more distinctive. So yeah, I feel like I made it work. I feel like it turned out pretty okay. I'm really glad I used my white gel pen. My white gel pen helped a lot with this picture. I used it a lot for highlights. I would go in with the white gel pen and then I would go over the white gel pen with the marker just to make the white not so like bow white. I was trying to tone it down a bit with the marker. Here I am coloring her leggings or nylons. I decided to have her wear nylons because I thought they would be kind of cute. And let's just say for some reason this pink marker blends really nicely. Well, not blends, but like I was able to get a super smooth layer of color with this pink, and I absolutely love it. Like this pink was just so cooperative. I don't know why, but the pink worked very nicely. I also add a slight pattern to her leggings. I put a whole bunch of little dots with the marker, and I also put a whole bunch of little dots with my white gel pen, and I feel like they look cute. One thing about these markers is that they definitely have a smell to them. A lot of markers kind of have a smell to them, like my Copic markers have a smell to them. But I don't mind the smell of Copic markers because it's not like super overpowering. But these markers, they have kind of an overpowering smell, especially since I was really soaking the paper with the ink. It just smelled of these markers in my attic. Here I'm going in with more white gel pen. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this picture turned out, and it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Like I mentioned, I was really nervous about this picture, and I didn't think it would turn out as well as it did. I didn't think I'd be able to get such smooth layer of colors with these markers, but I was actually able to make it pretty smooth, which I'm really happy about. I was afraid it was going to be like super streaky and that it was not going to look very nice, but it turned out pretty okay, so I'm happy about that. Also, I did color the background a bit, but I somehow didn't record it, which was really sad. I was really sad about that. I went to get my footage and I'm like, oh, I didn't record myself doing the background. But basically, I just took a ruler and then made a whole bunch of different stripes across the background. And then I colored the stars blue. So yeah, it's very simple, but I really like how it looks. I also scanned the picture into my computer. I often don't really like how my pictures look when they're scanned, but this one actually looks pretty nice scanned. But I'm really happy with how this picture turned out, and I feel like it was a pretty successful Sharpie challenge / Bic Market challenge. Before I end this video, I want to say thank you so much to my patrons on Patreon, including Eduardo, Julie, Nari-chan, Pisatera, Rachel, and Stephanie. Thank you so much for being a Patreon and for your support. Thank you all so much for watching this Sharpie challenge video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!